What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Early Bird Pod. Josh Schreiber here alongside me, Nico Sharp and Grant McNew, as always, and we got another fun episode planned today. So let's get right into it. And right now, guys, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks are red hot.
Yeah, they've been exciting to watch. They've really started to put it together, and they've really had some wins with conviction, which has been really nice to see. It just seems like it's not just like we're behind and then coming back and winning a one-run game or winning a two-run game. I mean, our offense has been exploding, winning by a lot of runs. Scoring a multitude of runs. Something we've talked about throughout the year, with just having a lot of crooked numbers, not just having one crazy good inning, but also just producing and having run production all throughout the game, which has been huge. So just seeing that, and then as well as our pitching staff staying locked down and holding the other teams to minimal runs, it's been really exciting. And I mean, the Hawks are hot, and it's been amazing to watch.
Yeah, the Hyannis Harbor Hots is what I've heard them be called by the kids in town. You know what I'm saying, fellas. You know what I'm saying. But yeah, second in the West right now, overtaking Bourne, and that was one that was kind of back and forth for a little bit of, okay, who's going to stay in second? And you felt like Hyannis was eventually going to overtake them, and they ended up overtaking them. So, yeah, they've played really well recently. It's been a lot of fun to watch. They're hot.
Yeah, I mean, right now the Hyannis Harbor Hawks are 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. They are on a 6-game undefeated stretch where their only non-win comes against Harwich, where that game had to end early with a tie. So really just playing great baseball, coming off that win against Falmouth at home where they just destroyed them 10-2 after Falmouth was ranked number 2 in the power rankings. And guys, we know that power rankings kind of rubbed some people the wrong way within Hyannis, at least, where it was like, hey, Hyannis has played them twice now, won twice, and for some reason Falmouth is still number 2 over a lot of teams that at least we thought and many people within Hyannis thought should not be ranked above them. And then but then again, Falmouth has been playing well. They come into Hyannis and the Harbor Hawks just dismantle them. 10-2 was the score. Really never a game, and it was just offense, offense, offense. Pitching came to play, and overall, just a fantastic win by the Harbor Hawks.
Yeah, and I think those power rankings may have rubbed some of the Falmouth people the wrong way as well, knowing why are we second? Like there was no reason for that. Yeah, you beat Katuitt, but also as of right now, they're a 500 team. Like they're 15-15-2.
Yeah.
Right. So like why were they second? And I think that was one of those things, and I've had to explain this to people a few times. I think Josh, you may have heard me do it, is well, you post power rankings during a little bit of a lull, you're looking for engagement. So they got engagement, right? There were a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is terrible." All-time bad power rankings, by the way. However, Hyannis really showed them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we've talked about is we felt like the Harbor Hawks should have been ranked higher, and I think it did give the boost that the guys needed. We talked about it in last week's podcast. We felt like we're just like a 500 team, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, and we kind of just talked about we want to see them string together some wins, and we're seeing that on this 8-1-1 stretch, right? I mean, could have very easily been 9-1. I mean, right before Harwich tied the game. I mean, we had that game won. It felt like it was one tough inning late in the game,
Yeah.
right before they called the game, where that's where it ended in a tie. But it just felt like that whole game where we were in control. It took that one half inning to tie the game, and then boom, we never had a chance to even respond. So I mean, it's just we just feel like we shouldn't have been the fifth. We should have been higher, and I think we proved that. And we had that little chip on our shoulder on that 10-2 win.
Yeah, and Hyannis kind of, as we have mentioned quite a bit, Hyannis has been flirting with 500 pretty much the entire season. And during this run, they've obviously been able to get above that. They've overpassed. They've jumped Bourne. They've jumped. They didn't jump Falmouth, but Wareham has been really struggling recently. So they've gained some separation there. Now 5 points ahead of Bourne. Bourne is in third place. Hyannis in second, and at this point, Hyannis is getting pretty close to even Katuitt, who is at 44 points at 22-9. Hyannis at 38 points. So if Katuitt has a bit of a lull and Hyannis keeps winning, they're right in it to win the division. So definitely going to be a fun stretch the rest of the way. But guys, any other main takeaways you want to point out from this, I guess, big winning streak?
I,
I mean, I would
I feel,
say just the fact that it's been consistency, which is something that we've kind of struggled with in the early part of the season of, okay, which Harbor Hawk team are we going to see today? Are we going to see the one that comes out ready to play, or are we going to see a six-error team on the field? And while oh, remind me, Josh, we had a big error game that we handled. I believe it was Chatham. We
Yep,
had
it was Chatham.
it was an ugly game, and those happened, but it was still finding a way to handle business, and we won pretty decisively in that one as
Yeah.
well. So just being able to consistently go out and play good ball.
Yeah, and really in this stretch, there's only been one big loss, and that was to Katuitt at home. Obviously, 16-7, not the prettiest game. But I will say one thing that I did like to see. They were down 16-1 going into the ninth inning and put up 6 runs. I know it's not the most competitive baseball at that point. The game is over with at that point. But you do like to see that fight that we have seen Hyannis have even throughout their losses, at least in at the end of June into July, where even their losses have been them scoring runs and getting guys on base at the end of games where if you're able to keep the game close a little bit longer, you're looking pretty nice. And I think the main game I want to point out for that was Brewster, where it was a very similar type of ending for them, where they put up some runs at the end of the game, and that should be their recipe. Stay close, have a small lead, and then just put it away at the end of games. And that's the way to win playoff games. That's the way to win games against some of the best teams. And they did that against Brewster. And I think they can continue to do that where, they're not always just coming back from games and winning, where they're able to have a lead and maintain a lead and put together a solid 9 innings.
yeah, Josh, that was well said. That was something I was about to say as well. That was, I mean, you said it perfectly. I just love how we're able to do both. It seems like when we're ahead, we know our bullpen can shut down and we can stay ahead. But then we've seen in a lot of games where we're coming back, where it feels like if we can just keep it close, keep it manageable, where if we're down 3 runs, even 4 runs, or more at times, where if our bullpen can really shut it down there, our offense can come back with 3 outs to go. Like it doesn't have to be 6, 7, 8. We've shown even in that 16-1, going into the ninth, to put up a seven, to have the game be 16-7 right there is huge for our offense. It's 16-1, right? I mean, how many
Yeah.
guys are really having fight in that dugout? And we showed it right there. Base hit, base hit, base hit. Score runs, then grand slam, right? That just shows the fight in our team who just love those who love those situations. They're not afraid to have their backs against the wall. So that's something that's been really exciting, and it just feels like we're always in these games. Like whether we're down a couple runs or whether we're up a couple runs, we can do both. Which, Josh, again to your point, which is what you need when it comes to playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a very impressive trait that this team has and one that can help them potentially in a playoff run. So we'll have to see about that. Still a lot of games left to be played, but another exciting thing that I don't want to spend too much time on because we may talk about them in our awards segment, but the All Stars just came out fairly recently, 2 days ago. Hyannis has 6 of them. They are Cam Smith, who is our only starter, Jamie Arnold, Ethan Lanthier, Trey Lipsy, Nick Mitchell, and Elijah Hainline. So congratulations to them. There's a good chance we end up talking about at least some of them in this awards part of our segment, but if you're a Hyannis Harbor Hawks fan and you're looking for something to do on Saturday, come on down to Harwich. I believe it's White House Field there. There's going to be some fun All-Star Game festivities. We got a home run derby with 2 of our Harbor Hawks in it, Brody Donay and Cam Smith. So definitely going to be a fun event with a lot of Harbor Hawks getting some action. So really excited for that. And with that, I think we can get into our favorite part of this show, and that is awards. Nico, you want to start us off?
Sure, absolutely, I'm down. So my first award is going to be the Anti-Little League award.
Okay. Anti-Little League.
Is anybody anti-Little League? I love Little League.
Maybe Nico had some inside information about someone who just hated Little League.
That's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't. Who could that
I
be?
can tell you
I'm
there's
gonna
no
take a
inside.
shot in the
It's a
dark.
different route, fellas.
All right, just
I'm-
giving us hints now.
I've got two ideas here, and I think I'm gonna go with Brody Donay because of his big 2 home run game.
I'm going. Oh, anti-Little League. I'm gonna go. Nick Mitchell, because Nick Mitchell, he's hitting a lot of triples. Now he's got a home run to his bag. I think that in Little League, this dude was a nightmare, and that honestly for him, it just kind of was boring because he was just running around everyone and was just way ahead of everyone. So I'm gonna go Nick Mitchell.
Sorry, you guys cut out there for a second, but unfortunately, you guys were both wrong on this one, and I'll explain to you why. So the award goes to Trey Lipsy, and the reason being, he has found his way into the 9-hole spot every game. And whenever you're in a Little League, that 9-hole is just a guy you just feed fastballs to because this guy can't hit, right? And he is showing just throughout this season that this guy can really produce. He's the way he's been swinging it. We've seen him hit a $170 to start the year and kind of started off struggling. Now he's up to 258 and has been a great segue to when they flip the lineup to go to the top of the lineup. Now he has 12 runs scored on his resume, and he just seems like he's just swinging the bat well. That's the 9-hole guy you want, right? So you want a guy that's going to be able to be on base for the guys like the Cam Smiths, the Mitchells, and that top of the lineup. So he's not the guy that, it's a 9-hole. If you look up 9-hole on Google right now, what are you going to see? Oh, that's where the worst batting average, the guy who can't swing it. And so he just has the opposite process to that, right? So to me, he was the anti-Little League guy. He doesn't have that thought process. He's the guy that's going to find a way on and give us a perfect segue to the top of the lineup.
Yeah, Nico, you're making me a little upset now. This is the second time in a row where you've stolen my award. So I was going to give out an award to Trey Lipsy, and the reason being, since July 5th, this dude has been raking. I think it's 11 games. He's hitting 429 with 6 RBIs, 7 hit by pitches. That's in 11 games. So, he's getting hit nearly every game. It is just ridiculous to see what he's doing. And, when the All-Stars came out, I was a little bit surprised to see Trey Lipsy there just because of the slow start that he had. And a lot of the guys who are All-Stars, they get out to a hot start because there's not a lot of guys that have enough games played really to kind of warrant being an All-Star. And Trey Lipsy, you look at his stats and he's climbing up there right now. His batting average is getting up there up to just under 260, I believe it is. He's getting on base at a very high clip. And you could see the power stroke starting to come. And I wouldn't be surprised if he hits a home run here in the next few days because he's looking real good. He's getting locked in, and he plays outfield better than just about anyone in the Cape Cod League. He looks real good out there, and I'm excited to see what he does the rest of the way. We are going to get into the next award, and I guess I could take this one. So we got... All right. So you took my first award. I do have another award. I'm trying to remember what I was going to give out.
If you're thinking, I can go with mine.
All right, go ahead. Let me try to remember what mine was.
All right, I'm going to give out the Mathematics Award.
Mathematics Award. Ooh, okay. Let me see. All right, mathematics, I wouldn't say it's my strong suit, but we got some pretty smart guys on our team that go to some pretty impressive schools. Let me think.
I can give you a hint and say you're both going to hate this.
No. Oh no.
All right, now I'm gonna get crazy with my guess. Okay,
Yeah, we gotta get
I'm
creative
gonna
like
go.
Grant was with the Peloton Award.
Yeah, yeah, the cooking burger, whatever that was.
Yeah, however he got to where he got.
I don't think I can have whatever thought process Grant has. So I'm just gonna go Zach Earhart just because.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll just throw a name out there. I'll go. Let's go Eli Trop.
Okay, so you're both way off, and well, not way off, I guess, but you're both off. You're wrong. The answer is Zach York because in 39 at bats, he has 9 RBIs. And if you divide 9 by 39, you get 0.230769, 23076, repeating. And if you multiply that by, say, 3, so you get a good conservative 3 at bats per game, maybe 4. But if you go 3.69 RBIs per game, and I think that's incredible.
You can leave.
Well, he's just getting started
What?
too, guys. So
What?
remember, we always give that grace period with the new wood bats. So I think he's only going to get better. Mathematically speaking, he's hitting a lot of RBIs.
That's a crazy award. I gotta mark that one down. I'm gonna give it an asterisk. We'll see.
Yeah.
Asterisk.
Yeah, you may want to on that
No,
one.
I'm
That
kidding.
one
I'm
just
kidding.
Josh
All right.
picked the
Yeah.
coaching staff last episode.
All right. Fair. Fair. No, but
but that
hey, someone. I think it was Jacob Irons. He said he got it
He
when he
did
was
get it.
watching our episode.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But all right. All
I
right.
don't know
We'll give
how.
the mathematics award goes to Zach York and Grant. While I don't know if that's the award he deserves, he certainly deserves an award because he has arguably been the best player on the entire Cape in that span, where he is hitting. I mean, to start his career here, he's hitting 410 and 39 at bats, as you mentioned, just 2 strikeouts. And I'm going to try to pull up the swing and miss numbers, but at one point, he had 49 swings and only 4 whiffs, which is about an 8% whiff rate, which would be the best in all of the MLB, obviously different in the Cape League. But this dude is having a ridiculous start to his Cape career.
Yeah, he's been kind of unstoppable, and I actually had in mind that I was maybe gonna give him like the Big Brother award, just like the Big Brother guy who you just like older brother, you just can't get out. He just makes it look easy. Everything he does just looks easy, right? I mean, he put the ball over the scoreboard. His power's unbelievable. And you're like, okay, let me get fancy. Let me put a shift on him. No, he'll just use his hand, slap it down the third base line, and get a base hit. Like it just seemed like there was no way of stopping him, and I just felt like he was just a guy who he just makes the game look easy, right? Which is what older brothers tend to look like. It just everything looks easy to him. He's always having fun, always got a smile on his face. Like it just seems like they just couldn't get him out and couldn't figure out a way to stop this guy. So Grant, although the name was confusing, I think it was a great pick.
Yeah, definitely agree with you guys. Hey, he deserved an award. I'll give you that. I'll give you credit for the creativity and the math that you did to get there, but that was I think that's got to be the toughest award we have. So I'll just say that. But anyways, I did remember my award. I want to give this award, and actually no, I'm not going to say anything else other than this award is the Pay Attention to Me award. And there's
All
an
right.
exclamation point at the end.
I think there are a couple ways you could go here. My first thought is John Gazdar because it seems like anytime there's a lull or people are starting to kind of, die back into the rhythm of the game, he makes some incredible play at either second or shortstop. Um, and honestly, I don't think we've given enough defensive awards, but I think that's one that would really be good.
Yeah, I like that. I like that thought process. Well, when you say that, I I want to think Donay just because that's one of the guys that a lot of people felt like should be in the All-Star game. And I felt like, maybe if you're like, okay, pay attention to me, I should be in this game. Although he is in the home run derby, a lot of people thought he should have and very possibly could have had a spot on that All-Star roster. So although I do feel like eyes are on him, I feel like, you could possibly have that thought process of, hey, pay attention to me, I should be in that All-Star game.
Yeah, good guesses, both wrong. Um,
Hmm.
I do feel like those are two guys that, at least in the Harbor Hawks, we're paying attention to those guys. John Gazdar, I don't think I've ever seen more hype about a player coming in my life. I mean, baseball ops, at least, they love him. They love everything about him. Brody Donay also, I mean, he's a fan favorite. My Pay Attention to Me award is going to Alex Lane. Okay? And that is because Alex Lane
Him.
Alex Lane has kind of quietly, just very, very much so, gone under the radar. That he's not a guy that has been starting a ton of games. He's kind of been coming off the bench a lot, getting some pinch hit appearances. But in his last, or I guess in July, he hasn't played that much, but he is 7 for 15 with a 467 average. And Alex Lane is a guy that started off his Cape career very slowly. You know, had a great season for Northeastern, hitting about 20, I think it was 20 home runs, but came into this season a little bit slow, hitting just around 200. He's quietly brought that average up to 278, and that is with over 50 at bats. So he's had some of the most at bats on the team. He's a day one guy, and I think he's going to start to get a little bit more playing time as the season goes along. You never know what can happen in a long season. He could play first base, he could DH. Not a ton of flexibility there, but I think he's a guy that could provide some pop. He's starting to go the other way with the ball. He's starting to hit some line drives. I think it's not long before we talk about him being a big part of this lineup.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a great pick, and I actually did think about him. I was like, because he was one of those guys where, at Fenway, I remember watching his power on display, hitting it over the Green Monster, and he was kind of that guy that, we kind of had our eyes on, and like you said, very quietly. I mean, he as of now has a better average than both the guys that me and Grant guessed. I mean, a guy who was getting pinch hit opportunities, and even coming off the bench and having that kind of production in a pinch hit role has been huge and a very tough thing to do, to come off with a cold bat and be able to produce for your team. I mean, it's such a huge thing, hitting 278, barely under 280, as you said, Josh. And it's a guy who just seems to get it done, and definitely a guy we need to pay attention to.
Yeah, Nico, you allude to the Fenway day, and I remember I was sitting with Jacob Irons while Brody Donay was catching, and he had a throw down to second base, and I looked over at Jacob Irons and said, "Wow, that pop time is something that you don't see very often. Like, that was an incredibly quick throw with a lot behind it, a lot of mustard, as all of the guys down in Arkansas are saying about anything. A lot of mustard was on it, so." Just one of those guys, like, yes, offensively, he's got it going. He's hitting the ball hard. He's in the home run derby for a reason. And his average is rising every game, it seems like. But also defensively, he's one of the scariest catchers to go up against.
It was an Alex Lane award, right?
Yeah, so Alex Lane, one of those guys that, like, you throw him into a game and he's
What
just
just
scary.
happened?
I don't know what just happened.
You just started thinking about Brody Donay. I can't blame you, but all right. So that was the Pay Attention to Me award going to Alex Lane, and some good analysis by you guys about him. We're gonna go into the next award. Nico, what do you got for us?
All right, guys. I'm gonna go with the 2x2x2 award. I don't know if you guys ever been to IHOP, but that's a breakfast item. 2x2x2.
All right, I'm putting in parentheses IHOP.
Huh.
Um,
Two by two. 2x2x2. Could that be a reference to 2 home runs in a game?
Um, I'm going to guess this is a guy that provides a little bit of everything, okay? You know, they provide a little bit of speed, a little bit of defense, a little bit of offense. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna guess Nick Mitchell again, because why not?
Oh, that was gonna be my guess for
Well,
that reason.
you can guess him again.
Yeah, well, Nick Mitchell right now has 0 errors, if I remember correctly, so far. So I just want to point that out as well. But I'm gonna go Nick Mitchell also.
Good guess. I did give his award last week, so I did not repeat him. Good guess, though, guys. And so the 2x2x2 award goes to no other than John Gazdar. So when we talk about him, well, first we'll talk about defensively. Josh, you even made an amazing graphic about him. The way that he turns double
Thank
plays, it usually does start with him, like ground balls to him, but just the way they work up the middle. He's a pitcher's best friend back there. I mean, he's so smooth defensively. They turn a lot of great double plays, and we actually find him in the two slot as well. He hits two hole because just the way he puts together at bats, sees the ball well, lets the ball travel. He sees pitches for the rest of the lineup later in the game. He can put a bunt down. Really has really good hands offensively as well. And then he has a little bit of he can drive the ball in the gap. He has a double recorded on his thing. So I have him as the 2x2x2, which it really shows defensively. Turns a lot of double plays. We made a graphic for it. I mean, he's been amazing defensively. He's in our two hole, sees the ball really well, but also can put the ball in the gap and get a double.
Yeah, definitely a deserving guy. I mean, since day one, he's been kind of just a reliable at bat. Like whenever he comes up in a big spot, whether he makes an out or doesn't, or has a productive uh, plate appearance, he's going to have a good at bat. You can kind of just rely on it, and he really hasn't struck out much at all. I think I can remember a couple of them, and they were both looking. So I don't know. His swing and miss rate, I doubt, is very high. I can pull up the stats on that in a minute, but Grant, anything on John?
Yeah, with John, like you said, just one of those guys. He steps up to the plate, and you're just comfortable with him being at the plate. Really, no matter what the circumstances. So like 2 outs, bases loaded. You're thinking, oh yeah, we've got John coming. No outs, no one on. Oh yeah, we've got John ready to get things started off.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that just he's gonna swing the bat. He's gonna swing the bat well. He sees the ball well, knows where the zone is, and defensively, like you guys said, turns so many double plays. One of those guys that just now here's a guy that plays really good defense. Like he's just there and he's snatching the ball up. He really sucks in those balls and he gets them away to first base.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. And John Gazdar, I was right actually for the most part. Has a uh, he all right. So he swung at what is it, 61? He swung at 61 balls so far this season. Has only swung and missed 8 times. So a little bit of a higher sample size than we see with Zach York, but that's just a 13% whiff rate, and that's among the best in the Cape Cod League. So, as you guys said, he's a guy that he's going to take good at bats over and over again, and he's going to put the ball in play more likely than not. All right,
Yeah,
so I
what
think
you want from your
Grant.
two hole, guys. Great
Sorry.
analysis. Loved it. No, I just want to say great analysis, guys. I loved it. Yeah, but I mean, totally guy deserving for both sides of the ball is John Gazdar.
All right, so Grant, I believe it is your award.
Yeah, my award name is going to be. I'm trying to think if I have a better name here, but I'm gonna go with the around the block again.
Around the block again.
Yes.
mm, Around the block again. Oh, maybe he's coming back. This is his second year. That kind of limits our options, though. Uh, you gave Volker. I don't think you'll give Volker another one. But I'm gonna go Zach Erhard because his brother obviously was here last year. So Erhard family.
Yeah, that's where my mind kind of went to as like a returner. But I mean, okay, so I've heard him say Donay as a guess, and he even turned an award that wasn't Donay's into Donay's. So with him, just keep repeating Donay's name, and then around the block, I'm thinking again. He keeps referencing that 2 home run game. So I feel like we've heard Donay a
Yes.
lot from him. So he's finding ways to try to implement Donay here. So I'm gonna have to guess Donay.
Well, yeah, no, you're wrong. And I have no clue what you're talking about with the turning an award into him. Anyways, yeah, the Around the Block Again award. That's gonna go. I'm giving it to Zach York. I'm going around the block again and giving it to Zach York.
No way.
He's getting 2 in one episode. Yes, Zachary York.
All right, why?
He's hitting 410, fellas. 410. That's insane.
Why he got an award? Like you gave him an award.
Yeah, but this is emphasis.
Okay.
This is for emphasis.
All right, so Grant cheated in the ledger.
No. Okay, he's hitting 410. I just want to take some more time to analyze Zach York, right? 39 at-bats. And the last one, I did a lot of math, and you guys know how I feel about math. But Zach York, 410, 9 RBIs already on the year, and he was a late comer. He's a newcomer still, pretty much. Only 39 at-bats. And he's reached home 7 times. Okay, you can take it away now. I know you hated that one, but that's fine because I loved it.
Your first award, you go, all right, you guys are going to hate this. Your second award is even worse because it's the same guy. But hey, Zach York deserves it. And a little bit of a plug here. Check out our last episode of Early Bird Pod. I sat down with Zach York, talked with him a little bit. That was a fun conversation. So definitely check that one out. He's a super fun guy to talk to. Very interesting family as well. So definitely give that one a listen. So, hey, good award, Grant. I don't know what else to say. I mean, yeah, obviously, Zach York, he's really good. You got anything else, Nico, on him?
Yeah, I guess while we're on the topic of him again, just one of those guys who again makes everything look easy. I don't blame you, Grant. I guess if there's someone to give 2 awards to, it's got to be him. He's got the power, he's got the base hits, but you take a look at the strikeouts, like Josh was saying with the whiff rate, he has only 2 strikeouts on the year. He has the least strikeouts. Of the team, and I know he's only been here for a shorter amount of time, but he's still recorded 39 ABs since he's got here. I don't know if he's gotten a day off, and it's kind of smart because when the guy's hitting as well as he is and seeing the ball as well as he is, his knowledge and understanding of the strike zone is unbelievable. So you just can't take that guy out of the lineup. So he's just super fun to watch. A guy who can really do it all. He can really put it all together offensively. He's such a fun guy to watch, and we'll just round it again.
Yeah, and just a little update on those whiff numbers. Zach York went from 8% to just 10%. So he's still unbelievable. Swung and missed 6 times on the year. So, you don't normally see these big slugging lefties have that good of plate, not necessarily plate discipline, but I guess bat control. And he has it. And it is just incredible to see what he's doing. So, yeah, thank you, Grant, for making us all very angry. And now in to the final award. Oh, getting a little congested here, but power through it. My final award is going, well, I'm not going to say who it's going to, but okay, I had two ones in mind. I'm trying to think which one I'm going to do. I'm going to do the award.
Oh.
That's the award.
Just curious, how are we spelling that on the list that you're making of awards?
I'm going to go all caps, AHH. Because that's it. It's quick.
Yep.
Because it's a quick scare. No.
Sure.
The award. Hmm.
Give me a second here.
Huh.
Hmm.
Nico, do you have any thoughts on this?
Hold on, I'm starting to put it together.
I don't
Man, we
think
can
this is
almost
going to a player.
really.
Is it? I don't
Um,
know.
Here's the
It
thing.
just
Here's
seems
the thing.
like something that he would do.
Okay, so I'm actually going to say here that I'm going to go throw out a name in Dennis Colleran. I think he's a pretty high velo guy. He's a guy who I don't know, maybe the ball gets on you and it scares you for a second. He's had 5 appearances, thrown 8 innings. It's a short scare, which means he doesn't eat up a bunch of innings. So he's a quick scare guy. He's in for an inning or two. Uh, that's where my mind's going.
Grant, you got to guess.
I just think we're overanalyzing this. I want to go with the broadcast's crowd mic because every time a ball hits it, it's terrifying. It is so loud, and it
Hey,
hurts.
I love the guess because if that were the answer, that would be the greatest guess of all time. But
yeah,
it's not. You guys are both wrong, I'm afraid. The award is good. And you got to make that facial expression too.
I see it.
Mm.
Anyways, but the award is going to Zach Earhart. And that is because I think that Zach Earhart scares some people in on this Hyannis Harbor Hawks team with the intensity he plays with. It is so fun to watch, at least from our perspective. He just does all of the dirty work on this team. I mean, he's bunting for hits. He's bunting to move runners up. He's hitting a home run every now and then. He's just getting on base any way he can. He's tied for the lead on the team in walks. He does everything, and he's in the middle of this lineup after having, he will say it was not a good start to his Cape League career. I believe it was 0 for 26, but ever since then, he has really started to get things going. He's looking so much better at the plate. He's having controlled at bats. He's made adjustments, and the intensity that he plays with, I think, quite honestly, scares some people on this team and maybe even some people on the coaching staff because you watch him go out there and he has said it himself. He's playing like it's his last game pretty much every time he goes out there, and every time he scores a big run, he is screaming. He's pumped up. He's uh, doing everything he can to get the guys fired up, and that's the type of guy you need on a team where you're having these comebacks, you're having these big plays, and all that type of stuff. So that's why he gets that award.
I love it. I love it. He's a guy who's intense. He plays the game hard. He runs hard. He plays hard every single game. He's like you said. He just plays the game the right way. I love the intensity. Definitely a guy you want at the front of the line. When you're going against another team. He's got 4 stolen bags on the year. He has a cannon for an arm. You can tell when he throws. Like he's just an aggressive player, and I love it. And you can see he plays with emotion. Right, you can see one that if he just missed it, you can see that like intensity that he just plays with day in and day out. It's not a guy who's when he's having just a good day, he's at the front of the line, but a bad day, he's on the back of the line. He's at the front of the line, plays that intensity. Really, a guy who's a great leader on the team. Like you said, a guy who starts off 0 and 26, was it 25? That's and then in a short span, that's pretty hard to now be hitting in the 200s now after having that kind of span. So that just speaks to him seeing the ball well, playing hard, bunting for hits, finding ways on, finding gaps. It's just, yeah, I love the award. I love the intensity. Zach Earhart is a really fun player to watch.
Yeah, one of
Yeah,
those guys that plays with a lot of emotion, and that emotion is intensity. One of those things you see with a lot of players that play with emotion is that they're easily swayed by the way the game's going, how, say, an opposing crowd is cheering. He's not one of those guys. All of his emotions are fueled, it seems, completely internally, which is really powerful when you're a player as good as he is. I know a lot of times especially younger guys coming up, they'll be taught, okay, you've got to learn to play with some intensity. You got to learn to play mean, play angry, that kind of thing. He doesn't have to learn that because he is intense. He is angry. I don't want to say he's mean because I don't think he's mean, but when he's on the field, he's mean, right? So one of those guys that is not going to be swayed negatively by either side. He's just going to come in, play hard, play well, play angry.
Yeah, and I will say, I've talked to Zach Earhart a couple times, but he's done a bunch of interviews, and he is super nice guy, except for when you call him his brother's name, Drew. So, and I think Bria Lossick got a glimpse of that. Mike Maynard got a glimpse of that, our sideline reporter and one of our writers. So, I mean, people got to stop calling him Drew, his brother's name, who is the coach on the team. But I think that's the only time that he's actually going to be mean off the field. All right, so that will conclude our awards. No points really across the board. Is that the first time nobody has guessed? Did that happen last time too?
I think it happened last time.
Yeah, so that's 2 times in a row where we have just stumped each other. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been another episode of the Early Bird Pod. Stay tuned because Nico Sharp is going to have a really fun interview coming out with some 2 very important pitchers on this Hyannis Harbor Hawks team. Not going to spoil it yet, but definitely keep an eye on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Twitter. Keep an eye on the YouTube because that will be coming out in the next week or so. So thank you everyone so much for watching. I'm Josh Schreiber, joined by Nico Sharp and Grant McNew. We'll see you later.